It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
All right, so step one in terms of hitting your goals, start with doing a net worth statement. Step two, and this may seem obvious, but we're going to kind of dive in and explain why it might not be as obvious as you think, is make a plan for investing in 2023. I'm going to say that again. Make a plan for investing, because I think a lot of people screw that up right off the gate, Brian.
Well, I have friends, and they ask me because they know I love index funds. And I had one recently over the holidays said, "Are you still using those index funds?" Because man, they had a rough year last year. I was like, no, every month that's still what I'm buying into, those same type of baskets. But it is important to kind of take a big overview of what is your plan for every dollar. Are you going to be investing every month? Are you going to be loading up, because realize all the contribution limits for a lot of the different accounts have changed. You have the potential to update all of that right now in January, so you capture it throughout the year.
I think it's so interesting, Brian. A lot of folks, they walk into financial planning and they walk in their saving strategy as, you know what I'm gonna do? I'll see what I got left over at the end of the month, and I'll just save that. Whatever's left over at the end of the month, that'll be what I put into savings. What we have found is that behaviorally, that just doesn't work for most people. If you wait until the end of the month to save, what you're gonna find is the end of the month, there's no money left over. So we think starting at the beginning of the month, the beginning of your pay cycle, at the beginning of the year, you need to lay out, this is where I want my money to go. I want to pay myself first before I pay for all the other living expenses that come through life. And if you can do that, you know that you're putting money in the places it ought to go instead of guessing if you're gonna have enough left over at the end to make it up.
For sure, because you'll need to figure out some of these things, like if you look at Roth IRAs, health savings accounts, your 401ks, all of them, the funding limits have changed, but a lot of you will also need to figure out, like, hey, Roth IRA, is this something, whether you're doing backdoor conversions or just funding it directly, is this something I should do it once at the beginning of the year, or should I spread this out throughout the year? Be deliberate with that. Don't just let that be something that you just like, well, I don't know, actually lay it over your investments. If you are brand new and your cash flow makes it easier to do it monthly, do it monthly. But if you're now at the more mature stage where you have that much in cash, and we're in a down market right now, a bear market, go ahead and take advantage of lump sum investing some of that money as well.
One of the things that we like to talk to our clients about, right? We have the financial order of operations. Brian, you want to hold up the little thing for me real quick?
I love making the sound too.
We have these 9 tried and true steps of what you should do with your money. Well, one of the things I encourage folks to do, and we actually help our clients with this, is every year when they become a client, we do a Foo for You. And it's really helpful if you can go through the financial order of operations and think about, okay, here's what I want to do this year. Okay, I want to max out my Roth IRA. I want to max out my HSA. I want to max out my employer-sponsored plan. You just check the boxes as you work through them, and you will be amazed. And this is what I think is so interesting, Brian. This seems silly. Okay, I'm just going to think about maxing out my Roth IRA. The numbers, I heard they went from 6,000 to 6,500. That's step one. I'm just going to do that. But man, it's just $6,500. It doesn't sound that exciting. That could not be further from the truth.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason. If you go to moneyguy.com/resources, we have a money multiplier, because I think a lot of people, if you understood the opportunity cost for what every dollar has the potential to become when you reach retirement, it's amazing. Compounding growth truly is phenomenal, and your money can work harder than you can with your back, your brains, and your hands. Harness that power. And just to prove our point, Bo, you were laying out, you can put $6,500 in. It's amazing if you put that money to work right as you're in, 25 years of age. By the time you retire in 40 years in the future, that $6,500 has the opportunity to become $286,000. That's amazing.
I want to say that's just that one contribution of $6,500. That one single contribution can turn into over $250,000. So if you can get your head to think about, okay, every single year, I'm just going to max out my Roth IRA, max out my Roth IRA, max out my Roth IRA. When you get to retirement, when you get to financial independence, you are literally just stacking those $250,000 buckets. And when you're going to wake up one day in your future 40, 45, 50-year-old self, say, holy cow, Where did all this money come from? It came from that small incremental decision to keep saving.
Well, I think it's interesting to point out, if you were investing monthly into your Roth, that's $541 a month, approximately. Think about that. A lot of people's car payments are now more than $541 a month.
Yep.
And that we just did one contribution and then you were out. That's not healthy behavior. Healthy behavior over the long term is actually doing this $540 consistently, automated.
Yep.
Go ahead and create that wealth building process. That's how you become multimillionaire, just from a simple behavior of deciding this year I'm going to max out my Roth and I'm going to do it on a monthly basis and I'm going to set it and forget it.
So what do you need to know? Because you hear us talking about Roth, and the beautiful thing about Roth is those dollars go in, they grow tax deferred, and if you use them for if you meet certain requirements, then when you pull it out, it's completely tax free. But not everyone can do them directly. You have to make sure you fall inside the income limits. I think it's $138,000 to $158,000 for single individuals, $218,000 to $228,000 for married individuals. So if you think that you might be over those incomes, or if you think there might be something that pushes you over those incomes, you might want to rethink about how you fund your Roth IRA throughout the year, because you might need to approach it in a slightly different way.
Yeah, we have some creative things that we talk about on a lot of shows, whether it's the backdoor Roth conversion strategy, whether it's reducing your income, but instead of maybe doing Roth options, you're doing traditional, so you can lower your income down so you can fund both 401k plus you can do Roth, or you can just fund that taxable account. The unsung hero, once you've loaded up all of your retirement accounts, is that taxable brokerage account. It can be individual, it can be joint. Don't think you're done just because you loaded up those tax favored investments with your Roth IRAs, your 401ks. There are other ways to save for the future too.